Okay, so you have set your page set up correctly and you're going about printing in a professional manner. But what do you do if you are required to send the entire schedule or even components of the schedule to other programs, such as Microsoft Word or even Microsoft Excel? What do you do in such situations? Well, in this video, we're going to show you how to do this. It's easier than you think. So, to begin with, how do we go about exporting the schedule to a Word document? Make sure that your Gantt chart is selected and select the Task tab. And you'll notice here it says Copy with a little drop-down menu. Grab that drop-down menu and then select Copy Picture. And notice you'll be provided a few options here. Now, if you want the whole schedule to be captured in an image, make sure you select and keep selecting Full Screen and Copy Rows on Screen, and then click OK. Once that's done, you can go about and open your Word document. Now, for this particular example, we've got a project plan, which is typical. Oftentimes we will want to export components to reinforce our project plans, update these wherever necessary. So we've got objectives, time and dates, allowances, we have schedule, and we have further details further down. We want to obviously paste this into the schedule section. So let's do this. You can simply do this by Control V, or you can go to your home and simply click paste and paste the image like so. Now, the first thing you'll notice here is it's a little difficult to cope with, isn't it? We might move it down a little bit, but it's very, very difficult for the reader to work out what is going on here. So what can we do about this situation? It would be really helpful, wouldn't it, if we could have the schedule in a landscape mode. And we can do this by clicking our cursor before the section that we want to include in landscape mode. So in this case, make sure your cursor is selected somewhere just prior to section 3 schedule. And then go to the Layout tab in Microsoft Word. And then you'll see here there's a selection here, Breaks. Click Breaks and then click Next Page. And all of a sudden, your schedule and the title are moved to the next page. Then select Orientation, Landscape. And you'll notice here straight away that this page is converted to a landscape, whereas the preceding page is in portrait mode, which is what we want. But if you go a little further down, you'll notice that the page after our schedule is also in landscape mode, and we may not want that. So how do we go about this? Well, once again, make sure your cursor is just prior to the page that we want to go back to portrait, and simply click Break Next Page, and you'll see that the next page is being shifted down, and then Orientation, Portrait, and the preceding pages are portrait. Now, to tidy this up, we'll send back the text on the subsequent page back so it's nice and neat. So all of a sudden we have our schedule where we want it in landscape mode, and we can now continue to enlarge it so it's a little easier to cope. Now, there are further improvements that we can make here. For example, we might right click on this document and crop the document and get rid of any unwanted details that aren't entirely essential to our target audience in this project plan. So we might crop the edges a little bit to still retain the essential information, but to remove any unnecessary details. And then we can enlarge this even further. Now we've put ourselves in a position where we can at least enable our target audience to read the tasks in the task schedule there. Now we might want to make a few further adjustments to appease the aesthetics of this. We might go to Format Picture. Might be worthwhile maybe just to put a solid line around it, and this will tidy things up a little bit more so that the cropped image looks a little bit more professional. Now, what happens if we don't need the entire schedule but only part of the schedule to be displayed in our Word document? Well, let's have a look at that together. So we'll remove this image and we'll go back to Microsoft Project. And all you need to do here is to select the tasks that you want to convey into your Word document. So I've made a selection here to the first section of our project, and you simply repeat the same process as before. So click on the task ribbon, jump to copy, and then select the little drop down menu, copy picture. And it's going to ask for a confirmation for screen, and in this case, because we've made a selection, it's asking us to confirm the selected rows, which is true, and we're going to click OK. And now let's jump back into Microsoft Word, and then we'll see what the situation is when we right click, in this particular case, paste, and you can see quite clearly that your image and Gantt chart has been selected, and only the tasks that were selected have been included. Now, of course, if you wish, you can get into the business of cropping this image to your desired size, and you can resize and make adjustments as you see fit. So a really quick and easy, powerful tool to convey parts or the entire schedule. Now you can simply do the same for Outlook or even Microsoft Teams. It's a really useful tool to have in the repertoire. Now, what do you do if you want to transmit information to Microsoft Excel? Well, once again, this is quite a fairly straightforward process. So let's say we want to export all of these tasks here. You simply make a selection in your work table and you Control C. There are other methods to copy, but in this case we'll go Control C. Then we'll go to our Excel workbook and Control V. You will be given a table straight away, and you can simply get in there and make adjustments to that as you see fit. So we'll just tidy this table up a little bit. You can do this by double clicking on the rows. We'll scroll down and do this very quickly. And you can see it isn't a great deal of work in order to do this. And there you go, straight away you have your table there in Excel. A very quick and easy process. Do you think it's just as easy to do this in Microsoft Word? Well, let's try. So we'll go back to our Microsoft Project document. Now say for instance we want to show a table of the milestones only, and we want to update this and include this as a table in Microsoft Word. Well, how can we do this? Well, let's go to our View tab in the ribbon, and instead of Active Tasks, let's go to the Filter selection and then filter down to Milestones, and straight away it snaps to the milestones in this project. Now, we might be comfortable to remove the task summary items. So how do we do that? We'll go to your Gantt chart format ribbon and then deselect summary tasks, and there you have it. You've got a easy little table there which highlights all of the milestone dates. Now we might look at the task name and the finish for our table, so we might just select those. You can do that by selecting and holding down the Control key for each of the cells you want to select. Release the Control key and then go Control C to copy, and then let's jump into our Microsoft Word document. Now hypothetically, let's say that we want to include a table underneath this Gantt chart showing the milestone dates. So we can position our cursor there underneath the table, and then we can right click and click on Keep Source Formatting in on your paste options, and there it'll nicely put together a table that you can actually get in there and edit as well. So we might want to maybe make these title points here on the table as bold, and you can make adjustments as you see fit. So very, very straightforward ways in which you can transmit, send off and copy all sorts of project data into your Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel files. Thank you for watching. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and please subscribe as well.